Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Let's Talk, the series where we spend an exorbitant amount of time thinking up ways to say the series where. This is your friendly neighborhood Birdman, and today we're talking Minecraft. So Minecraft is a movie based on the video game Minecraft, a sandbox game where you can essentially build and create almost anything you can imagine. It tells the story of a man named Steve who was unsatisfied with his own life, so he goes to his local mine and finds two cubes which, upon combining, opens a portal to the overworld, a sandbox world that allows Steve to build nearly anything he can think of. One day, Steve accidentally opens a portal to the Nether, a world ruled by a tyrant that wants to exploit the overworld, and Steve's wolf Dennis escapes with the cubes to the real world, where the cubes are found by a washed-up gamer and a child genius he kinda sorta mentors. Full disclosure, I am not a Minecraft player. I know almost nothing about the franchise outside of getting my ass kicked by nearly every Steve player in Smash Bros., so I went into this movie with probably the most open mind of anyone that's going to see this film. And I have to say, this movie kind of makes me want to play Minecraft. It sort of sells me on the idea of a survival game where you can build anything, an itch that hasn't been scratched for me since Don't Starve. And that's a good thing because I wasn't expecting much from this movie, and I'm happy to say this was a fun time at the theaters. A bit of a warning though, this film is extremely over the top, and I think this is what's going to divide audiences. From the opening, you can see just how much fun Jack Black is having with this film, and being honest, the opening made me think this was going to be another nonsensical trash video game film given how incredibly silly it is. But after the intro, the film sort of settles into being a rather competent adventure comedy film. Don't get me wrong, the movie is very silly, but it's a fun silly where you're not really annoyed at the things that are happening on screen. I really got the sense that the people making this movie were passionate about the franchise, and you can see that love put into the set design and the lore, which, as far as I know, is pretty accurate to the source material, something I will always defend. The plot is relatively paint by the numbers. A group of people are unwittingly drawn into a magical world where, through them, the audience learns about that magical world, and the characters must retrieve a MacGuffin in order to return to their world, but there's an evil overlord who also wants that MacGuffin, and they have to defeat that overlord in order to win. We've seen this kind of plot many times, so the film is breaking no new ground here. However, it's the execution of this cliche that matters, along with the personalities that are on the screen, the best of which are, unsurprisingly, Jack Black's Steve and Jason Momoa's Garbage Man. These two carry the film, and they are both hamming it the heck up, and they have great chemistry together. Garbage Man is a champion gamer from the 80s who is having financial problems, so he enters the overworld to get resources he can sell in the real world. This initially brings him into conflict with Steve, a master of this video game world, so they have this ongoing dick measuring contest that I thought would have carried the film by itself. And this brings me to one of the negatives of the film. The rest of the cast. They're just kinda there. I mean, the boy, Henry, is obviously the blank slate audience avatar hero archetype who's being bullied at school and blah blah blah. I just kinda didn't care about him or his sister, who is the protective big sister archetype that is taking care of her younger brother because blah blah blah. And she calls Danielle Brooks' character to help her find her brother, which is strange because her character is a realtor. Like, why did you call her instead of the police? If I were making this movie, I would have cut the big sister and the realtor out of the film and settled on the boy, the washed-up gamer, and Steve. Heck, I would honestly cut the boy from the film, but I get why he's included given the target audience of this film and the fact that people might find it weird there are two middle-aged men as the protagonist of a video game movie that's clearly directed at teens. What I'm trying to say is that this film is good enough with Jack and Jason, and the other characters are rather boring. The film also randomly cuts back to a villager and Jennifer Coolidge dating, and the film thinks this is really funny, and it's really not. This is another thing I would have cut from the film altogether. Also, your mileage may vary here, but Jack Black bursts into song a couple times, the first of which made me honestly question if this was a musical, and I just missed the marketing material about that, like how I didn't know the Mean Girls remake was a musical, but fortunately, it's not a musical. I think the filmmakers just wanted to remind everyone that Jack Black is a rock star, so he gets to flex a couple times. I like the songs, especially the one about the lava chicken, which actually made my theater burst out laughing. I'm just saying, if you're one of those people that hate when movies randomly have characters sing, this could potentially be a turnoff. So, do I think a Minecraft movie is worth your time? Sure, with a few caveats. Jason and Jack shine in this movie, and they are both hilarious. Steve explains the world of Minecraft for people like me who know almost nothing about the franchise, and Garbage Man is a hilarious fish out of water who thinks he's better than he is at the mechanics of this video game world. The CGI is beautiful, and the filmmakers clearly care about the franchise, and that care is shown in the set design, colorful world, and, as far as I know, lore-accurate depiction of the various elements of Minecraft. At 100 minutes, the movie doesn't overstay its welcome, and I enjoyed the rather brisk pacing, which, despite a few strange Jennifer Coolidge moments, never felt like a slog. The film is very funny, although it's a silly funny that might turn off people who are looking for something a bit more mature. To those people, I say, why the hell are you even here? I did think the other characters were rather flat and cliche, and unfortunately the film could have been better if those characters were axed altogether in my opinion. They're not annoying or anything, they're just there, and movies shouldn't have elements that are just there. All in all, I think this is going to be one of those movies that the critics think is meh, and the casual audience and fans of the franchise will love, and I lean more towards love than meh. A B.